Tell me when.
Welcome to Live Edge, episode number next.
You didn't say when. Say that
My
again.
My name's Matt.
I'm Amy.
Welcome to the show. Tonight we have a very special guest, Mr. Steve Ramsey from Woodworking for Mere Mortals. I'm sure you've heard of him. He's been on YouTube for a very long time and has a very big channel, and we're very honored to have him on the show tonight. First thing I want to do is give a Sawdust Spotlight. Got a watch, always doing that.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing over here, but you got all kinds of mess going on.
You sent that last one there for a second. I got to do that one second.
Mm-hmm.
You said? All right.
Yep.
The first Sawdust Spotlight goes to me, and I didn't pick that, y'all. No. I told him I did not to do that.
Don't worry. We picked another, too. Well, Mo did.
Yeah. So I finally made Mo her nightstand, and she's been begging for months and months and months and months and months and months and months. So she finally got her nightstand, and she's quite happy with it. And
because she got that, guess who's Employee of the Month? You have it?
No. I got a bald head. Where'd that go?
You can't keep yourself together.
There I am. Employee of the Month. Me.
Did you put the bald head on the screen? Yeah. You did.
That was a picture from the members only stream. So
that's hilarious. Oh, funny.
And then we got to go back to this one. The real Sawdust Spotlight is Mr. Michael Parched. That is really good work, man.
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful, beautiful work.
Look at that.
That's fantastic.
I so want to sit there while it's raining.
That'd be
read.
Awesome. That'd be awesome. Good job. That's a really good job. Be looking for that on the community, the Facebook community, facebook.com/community/731woodworkers. I believe is what it is.
Hey, we have Miss Ann in there again tonight. Welcome back, Miss Ann.
Welcome, Jason's mom.
That's what everybody says. Hey, Jason's mom.
All right. Without further ado, I want to bring on Mr. Steve Ramsey to the show. Welcome, Steve. Uh-oh, I got him muted.
Thanks.
Welcome. There you go.
Hey, Matt and Amy. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you, man.
Well, I was just looking at that built-ins that Michael Parch made there. Man, those things are beautiful.
They are.
You're beautiful. Loved it.
Wow.
Loved it.
There's some really talented people out there. Just it amazes me what they can do. And I'm looking at that. I'm like, there's no way I could do that. Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing I'm amazed at over the years is that every day I see new stuff that people are making that just kind of blows me away. I'm like, how is this? How have people not just made everything, you know? And then there's always this new stuff. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I get so many new ideas from that.
We have you seen the melting thing where they're doing with the bandsaw? Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm. No, what is that?
About?
There's a YouTuber that's he's doing some type of trick with the bandsaw. He's an older guy, and he makes it. He basically cuts a piece of 4x4 or something, cuts it in like 4 pieces, and they can just, the way he cuts it, he flips them around, and it makes it look like it's melting.
You showed me that.
Oh, wow.
That's super cool.
It's awesome.
He makes it look flawless, really flawless.
Now, real quick, I want to
Bruce
Bennett, welcome him to the One Before supporter. Thank you, man. All right, Mr. Steve, I'd like to know what got you into woodworking.
I grew up with woodworking. My grandfather and my father were both, well, in a different sense. My father is more of a woodworker than my grandfather was. My grandfather was the type of guy who would kind of like to putter around. He would fix things around the house. He always had tools out in his garage. And then he had built a whole, like a corner of the garage where he could have woodworking materials. And my dad, when I was about 12, bought a Shopsmith. Are you familiar with this thing? It's this, it's a all-in-one machine that converts from a table saw to, he had a drill press, he had a horizontal drill on it, a lathe, and all these things. You could just like tip it around and do whatever. And that was kind of my first exposure to, I guess, real woodworking. Before that, it was just labor intensive when I was real little. Like, here's a little handsaw. Why don't you go cut something with that and try
Get out of my hair.
Right. But then he got that thing. We're like, oh man, this is cool. We can actually do stuff with it. And so, yeah. And you know what really I think I was most attracted to was the lathe. The lathe really captivated me because it was just so, it felt really artistic. I think it is kind of like the most artistic kind of form of woodworking there is. It's like sculpting, it's like, or using like a potter's wheel or something, and you're making, so, I basically made a whole bunch of like candle holders. So like for like 2 years, everybody got candle holders for Christmas, it was like, oh, great, here's another candle holder from Steve, But then I kind of graduated to, to lamps, because that drill on there had this horizontal drill press. And so my dad had this long drill bit in there, so I could just drill all the way all the way through a long rod, and then I could and do all the lamp wiring and everything. Awesome. So then there was a period of time where everybody got lamps.
Do you still have some of those?
I have one of those lamps, and last time I was out visiting my dad, he'd found it somewhere. I don't know where it was. And he was like, "Hey, you want this thing?" I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah, that'd be cool to have that." It looks awful, but
Cool.
Yeah.
So what drove you to start making YouTube videos?
The funny thing about it was I didn't have a real purpose in mind. This was in 2008 is when I posted my first video on YouTube, and all it was I'd already been watching YouTube for a while, and there was only really one guy who had been posting woodworking. That was Mark Spagnolo.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh, that's really cool. At least there's a guy doing some woodworking on there. So I made this chessboard, and really, I just wanted to just document the process. I thought, I've never done anything kind of with this many pieces to it, and this many steps to build this project. And I really wanted to do a great job on it. And I thought, I'll just document this and put it up on YouTube. And so but my son was 10 years old at the time. So he shot that whole video. Well, it was actually 7 videos, because back then it was before they had unless you were like a partner. I don't know if they had the partner program then, but you were limited to 10 minutes of a YouTube video. So I had to break it up into these 7 really, really long, boring videos. I didn't know what I was doing. I had this little Sony CyberShot camera it was just a still camera. I think it shot 480p, but it had video capability on there. So I shot it on that and edited it in Windows Movie Maker. My son was 10. He shot a lot of that, which was really funny, because if you look back on those early videos, they're all like at this angle looking up, because he was right. Or I'm just like trying to direct him down here, like, okay, here's where the action is. Here's where you need to be shooting. But anyways, that's kind of what I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I think a lot of us in those early days, we didn't really know. And so it was just a fun thing to do. And it just led to that.
Like that.
Yeah, I still have days like that. So at what point did you transition? I'm assuming you had a full-time job before this?
Thank you, not cereal at all. Yeah,
I was a graphic designer for years. I started my own business. I haven't had a real job since 1997. That's when I started my business, which was ZRAM Media, which is actually the same business that I still run my YouTube channel under. Mm-hmm. But it was graphic design, and it was right around that time, 2008, is when the economy started going a little wonky there. And so a lot of my clients were like, either they stopped outsourcing graphic design work, because I had a lot of like Silicon Valley clients, or I just wasn't getting the jobs in anymore. And so it was kind of this interesting transition. I never had this moment where I said, I now declare I'm a YouTuber or anything like that. It was just this kind of a slow transition where I was still doing graphic design work for the first couple of years that I was making YouTube videos. But there just kind of came this point where I was saying, well, I have to make a decision here. I can actually probably make more money doing these videos than I'm doing with my design business, because it's not doing very well these days. And if I really want to try to revive that, it's going to be really difficult. But hey, this thing is kind of fun, and these people are watching these videos, and I'm like, yay, I've got like 1,000 subscribers or something, So that's that was sort of the evolution of how that happened. But
was there one video that took off that you remember that was like, wow, this is really going to be a thing?
Yeah, the first video that I had I made it's a I don't even know what you call it. It's like a paperweight, basically. It's a cube, and then inside of it, there's another cube inside of it. And you drill the whole thing out on a drill press. It's a really cool project because it's just, you go on all the sides, and it's like this captive. That's what I'm trying to say. I was going to say captivating cube. It could be captivating, but it was a captive cube inside of this little cage. And that thing, went really crazy. And I'm like, wow, this is really, really cool to get all these views on it. And then it was not too long after that, I did that nail through the wood trick, which was also, I barely remember even doing it. It was such a just offhand thing. I never really gave it much thought. And then that's now my #1 video. It's like that video just keeps on paying. It is the video. It's like getting a royalty check every month for the past 10 years on that thing. It's
Damon
crazy.
calls it a nesting cube. Is that what that was? Sort of like a nesting cube?
I think that's what you might call it. Yeah, it's like a small cube, but it's inside of a bigger cube.
Is it trapped in there so you can't get it out?
It's trapped in there,
okay,
right?
So it's not a nesting. It's more of a captive cube.
Yeah,
okay.
It's it's captivating too.
Yeah, a captivating captive
right.
cube. I can't even hardly say.
I think those were the first.
It's an alliteration. Oh,
and I think those were the first videos that I kind of understood what was going on, and kind of I started to figure out what people were responding to.
Yeah.
Great Grandpa says that he watches your videos all the time, and he's watched them for a long time. He just realized he was not subscribed all this time, but that situation has been rectified.
Well, see, that just goes to show you don't need to subscribe.
Yeah.
You can still watch the videos.
Idaho in the house.
Yeah.
Stephen Kofed, welcome to our show. Thank you so much for your. He says thanks Outlaws for hosting Steve. So welcome to the show. Then thank you for joining us.
So we had some channel members sending some messages early, and one of them wanted to know that since you started over 12 years ago, 13, 14 now.
13, yeah.
Yeah. What would you would you give your younger self some advice looking back? Like, what would you tell your younger self on YouTube? I think he's a YouTuber too. Married Man Woodworks is his name.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen Married Man Woodworks in your comments a lot. I think the biggest advice I have about YouTube is be willing to play the long game. I think if you understand that there's going to be times, and I've seen this so many times over 13 years of doing this. There's times when you do really well. There's times when you're not doing well. There's times when you're making a lot of money. There's times when you don't make a lot of money. And there's times when you're just firing on all cylinders. People love what you're doing. And then there's times when you can't cut a break. And if you can just weather those out and understand that over time, all of those ups and downs are in a general upward trajectory. Ideally, you're in that upward trajectory, then it's not too much to worry about. I think early on, I was really concerned with like every single video. Like, oh, this video didn't get any views on it. That's it.
It's over.
We're doomed.
YouTube's over. Yeah. And so once I kind of understood that, and this really wasn't until fairly recently I kind of understood that, it gave me a lot more freedom to really do what interests me on the channel, and not to get too caught up in the numbers games, because the YouTube analytics will drive you crazy. If you just start getting into those things, you could just absolutely go crazy looking at those numbers, and they're.
Thank you, S.J. LaRue.
What's crazy is you could post a video that's just junk out of the gate, like 10 out of 10. It's like you're just bummed about it for 2 weeks. And then 6 weeks later, you look up and that thing is taken off.
Why don't you ever remember that when it releases, though?
You can't. Because when you release, you're like, oh, another dub.
Yeah. He's a complete Debbie Downer when it comes out. Like,
my lip
when we lost all access to all communications Sunday. When we left church, there was no internet in our town, in the surrounding towns.
No cell phones, no internet.
Cell phones. We couldn't make a phone call, nothing.
It was the longest 2 days of my life.
It was 5
So
hours.
basically, you were living like cavemen.
Yes, and it was horrible. I looked over at him and I said, I'm really bored. I mean, there was nothing to do. Terrible.
Oh, that is tragic. That's like if the power goes out, I find myself walking into the bathroom and I still flip the switch, even though I know it's not going to do anything. I'm like, oh yeah, here we are in the dark.
Absolutely. Martin, I don't know how to say this name, Mello, says that you've not done sponsored videos in a while. Let's see.
The gripper.
Oh, gripper versus
Micro-jig.
you starting to do sponsored videos, good or bad?
Yeah, I think sponsored videos are a great thing to do if you've got it's a great way to make money on YouTube. I just now started to do a couple sponsored spots for my podcast, just to help kind of offset some of the costs of doing that. But yeah, I haven't done when I came out with my online courses, I had to kind of make a decision. Do I want to promote other people's products or do I want to promote my own products? Mm-hmm. And you really don't want to do both in one video. I might have had a video or two where I'm like, plugging a mattress or something, and then I'm plugging my own stuff, and that's probably not a good idea.
I do miss the micro jig ones.
Yeah, everybody misses those things. I kind of miss doing them. They were a lot of fun. And the biggest misconception people have about that is that they assume that there was like some big cataclysmic event that happened between me and microjig. And no, I mean, I still love microjig. We talk all the time, but it was just one of those things where that was like really valuable real estate at the first part of my video. And you know this, I know because you did the Daryl Leaves, classes on that, is that first part of your video is so important. Mm-hmm. And for me to just basically be selling 10 seconds of that was probably not the best idea, especially when people would tune in just to watch that. They're like, well, I just want to see the micro jig and then I'm out of here. But funny. There's a guy on YouTube who actually did a super cut of every single micro jig spot that I did. It was so funny. And it was on for like 2 years. I never even knew it was there. And then somebody sent me the link to it. And it was a lot of fun.
Damon wants him to say micro jig one more time. Like
well, I would, but micro jig, maker of the gripper. Work safer, work smarter.
That's funny. There you go, Damon Barber. Dreams do come true. See.
I may still, we're actually trying to figure out a way that we can do some more micro jig work to work with them again. So we'll see. It's not over yet.
Damon said,
it's excellent.
He's excited.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those products that I could get behind and endorse because I use it. I still use it all the time.
Oh, Josh,
I just don't feel safe using a table saw without it, really.
Basically for like smaller parts around that blade.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Oh, and on your router too. Router table works great.
Another question was, you seem to enjoy the video creative process. If you could not make woodworking videos, what type of other videos would you like to make outside of your channel or your other channel?
It's actually something I've given a lot of thought to because for a long time now I've wanted to do video essays of movies, movie essay video, not reviews, but just kind of discussing movies. And it's just one of those things that every time I start to do it, I think, wow, this is taking up way too much time that I probably should be spending on something that earns me an income. But I think eventually I'm going to get around to doing that. And with the shorts coming out, I was actually kind of thinking about starting just a shorts channel of just 60-second movie reviews. I thought that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, I watch a lot of movies, so it would be easy for me to do that.
Dennis Dorr wants to know, he said, how do you find new ideas for your videos after doing it for 13 years?
Yeah. How do you?
I've used them all up. And there's no new ideas. No. I get asked that question a lot, and people ask why, or are you ever afraid if you just going to run out of ideas? And that's not the way ideas work. It's not like you're born with a certain number and then you use them up. I'm 40 years old. I used up all my ideas too early. Now I've got nothing left. So it's just it's a constant state of things coming to mind that you're curious about and you want to do. This year, I haven't made a whole lot of projects, but when things come up that I need, especially things that I need around the house, if it makes sense to make it, then yeah, I'll make it. And if I can make something and get the camera out and get a video out of it, definitely. I really don't make anything without shooting a video of it.
Yeah, we're the same way. She's like, we need so and so. I'm like, that makes a good project.
Mm-hmm. Or he'll say, well, I really feel like filming, so I don't think I'll make a video on this. And I'm like, yes, you are. You're making a video.
You better. You will regret it. You will regret it.
You better get the cameras out. Don't put them on me. That's funny.
Another question says, you have done a great service to the woodworking community by providing guidance for new woodworkers on a tight budget with limited space. If space and money were not a concern, what type of woodworking would you like to do?
Oh, well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. What kind of woodworking would I like to do? I pretty much do what I like to do. I mean, I find it very interesting to keep with the set of tools that I have and try to work within those constraints. And it might seem strange, but I would actually probably get into more digital fabrication just because that intrigues me a lot to see, especially like laser cutters and CNC. I don't really have the space for it, but I would probably pursue more of that. I couldn't do it for my YouTube channel, but I think it would be fun.
I was also asked to ask you about your catification project.
Oh man! Hey, guess what? Today is Cobra and Bubble's birthday. They are they're 2 years old.
Oh,
so
they're 2 years old today.
So you turned in your whole dining room, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's one of my pandemic projects. So during 2020, my channel, I kind of changed my channel from year to year. But in 2020, I just decided I'm going to go crazy being locked down if I don't have something to do. And so I started doing this daily vlog series, basically lockdown woodworking. So it was every day I was shooting something new, and just kind of, it was a fun thing to kept me sort of sane. But one of those things I did was we decided to let's catify this house. And so we had a lot of fun making these. Yeah, so I made these like shelves all along the walls and ramps and things, and they love it. They still play on those all the time. In fact, they chase you. They're brother and sister cats, and so they chase each other all the time. And they'll usually it's like at night, or like watching TV, a movie or something. It's like 9 o'clock at night. All of a sudden, boom! They're just boom, and then they just race, and it's so funny to see them just run up there and race all around the ceiling, basically, and then come back down.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
We had a lot of.
Let's talk about pets.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I'm all for that. We had and you know what I was also doing last year is I was trying to train the cats. I'm clicker training them. And so, you know, if there's like a dog, you can clicker, use a clicker, and they'll just do your bidding. And so I was trying to teach them to jump over this bar. So one of the projects I made was it was kind of like a limbo bar where you could raise it up. So the idea was I could keep making it higher and higher. You know, I thought I gotta get these cats on some sort of a TV show, a talent show or something. But after a while, they're just kind of like, now, you know, we're good. We're going to be cats.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay, I've lost the question, so I don't know who asked it, and I apologize. But someone wanted to know what your favorite project was that you've made, and they wanted to know what your favorite project has been that he has made. But I don't remember who asked, so I apologize.
Favorite project that I've made. That's always a tough one to answer because I have to. Okay, you know what I have to do is I have to actually look on my YouTube channel because I don't exactly remember everything that I make. So, but real quickly, okay, I'm just stalling for time here as I'm going through.
You're trying to rack your brain. Sorry, put you on the spot there.
Okay, so. Real quickly, one of my favorite projects that I made was the TARDIS. That's from Doctor Who. That was a long time ago. I made that thing. So this was I don't know if you're familiar with the TV show.
Vaguely.
It used to be it's not a good show anymore, but it was. So it was a police telephone. I guess is what it is. It's a police box from London. And so the idea was it was like just time travel machine. So I thought it would be fun to make this full size TARDIS where it would be transportable. So I could make this thing and then I could break it down without any tools and then reassemble it. So my thought was, well, I'm gonna build this thing and then I can just like take all these pictures of it. I thought, oh, Instagram opportunity, you know? And so I'll take it into just fields and just different places around, maybe in San Francisco, all these different places, and set it up and then take pictures of it. But what I didn't discover until after I did that was that, okay, all of the pieces come apart. They're fairly heavy, but if I wanted to like set it up in a field or something, that just meant I would have to carry lots of pieces back and forth. So it wasn't really, I think I set it up like one time there to take some pictures of it. But that was, I thought that was a really fun, fun project. I think I'm really drawn to projects that just have no reason to exist, really.
Just because.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just going to do this thing. I do every year. I do Halloween projects. I really, really like Halloween, and so those are kind of fun, even though they serve no purpose whatsoever. But I liked all of your farmhouse projects, by the way. I think that was the second part of that question. Yeah, I think that I remember you did like a TV. Was it a TV stand or something?
I've done a couple.
That was really cool. Do you still use the one? Do you still use those things?
Yeah.
Yeah. The first one he made, it was a really big one. It was for my sister for her beach house.
We swapped it out.
Yeah.
I made her that so we could stay in her beach house for a week.
And then the most recent one he had done, it's the one for us, the one I designed.
Somebody on a follow up on the lockdown, you were doing those daily vlogs. Somebody wanted to know, did you enjoy it or did it become exhausting on the daily videos?
Yeah, that's a good question. It was both. I mean, I loved doing it, and especially at first, and I loved the community building a community on YouTube is a great thing to do. And you know this very well because everybody who watches your channel is watching this. They just love everything Matt and they love Matt and Amy. Yeah. But building those communities is so rewarding. And I felt like all through 2020, I would see every day, I would get comments from the same people, and we all had this thing, and just kind of this group camaraderie that was real enjoyable. But I knew, when I posted my first one, I think I remember saying, I don't know how long this is going to last because I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think I have the energy to keep doing this because it would be shooting, editing a video basically every single day and posting it. But I liked the challenge of it. I liked the idea of not being constrained to a woodworking video of like, here's the project, it's going to be a start and an end, that I could start it and then just like, well, I'm done for the day, so I'm going to post the video of just that much of it. Right. Or even just have a couple of different things going on at the same time. And that really intrigued me a lot. But over time, and then once the lockdown started loosening up and things started to get back to normal a little bit, then of course the name of the show, Lockdown Woodworking, didn't make a whole lot of sense. And at that time I was pretty much just burned out with the whole thing.
Casey Neistat did it for years.
He's like the shining example of somebody who did it, but it burned him out, definitely.
I'm sure. That's why he come out there where you're at and just relaxed.
Tim says, thank you both for your inspiration and hard work.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Evan Quay wants to know, do you have plans for working together on either channel more in the future, you two?
We haven't discussed it.
We should do something. I don't know how we do it. We're like a couple thousand miles away. But, I've done some collaboration projects, but it's a little hard in woodworking. It really is. Sometimes it comes off as just really forced and kind of wonky. I think this is a really good way to collaborate, really.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoy this because, I've been watching you for years and I was on your show, but I didn't get a chance to ask, questions like I can on this format, so It's like you was able to ask of me, and then I can ask of you. I really like that part of it. And
it's fun.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It was really fun for me to talk to you because you're kind of in that new generation of YouTube woodworkers, which is cool to see because there's just like kind of these different eras, I guess, of YouTubers, and it's really neat to see your perspective on it and see how you're just coming out firing.
I can't believe I wake up every day and this is my job. Like I'm waiting for the rug to come out from under it at some point.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really amazing. It really is.
He told my surgeon a few weeks ago that he quit his job to do YouTube, and I was like, "Whoa, wait! You got to explain that a little bit more. That sounds terrible. Don't say that."
I love seeing the reaction though.
I'm like,
who was it? Somebody else like last week. I did that too, and they're like, "What?" That lady.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, "What?"
Thank you, Third Rock Woodworks. Welcome to our 1x6 supporter club.
So somebody had one more other question. Only one that I have wrote down now is you've been around the YouTube block, so to say. Knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to me as 731 Woodworks? They said, but any channel really, smaller, younger channels. What advice do you have for them?
Well, I think the biggest advice I like to give people is pay close attention to what works. And I think that's not always in line with what you want to do. I think you often hear from people, it's like common wisdom is like, just do what you love and people will follow. And it's like, well, no, you can't really run a business like that. If this is your business and you're trying to earn a living, you got to do what people want to see. I mean, I'm kind of at the point where it doesn't matter too much, which is why I do like the woodworking podcast that you were on, and then I posted on YouTube. I know that thing's not going to get very many views, and people kind of complain like, I'm not going to sit through an hour-long video. But it's like, well, yeah, but I mean, this is what you've always been saying is do what you love. So here's what I'm doing. But no, I think it's really bad advice to just do only what you love. Just really find what works for people and give them. Oh, and the other thing, I think this is super important. Have a purpose for your channel. I've compiled a list of, and it's an ongoing list of woodworking channels on YouTube. And I think I'm up to like 200 now or so. And I don't want to come off as catty, but most channels kind of look alike, that they don't have a real focus to the channel. And I think that if you really want a channel to grow and you really want to, make a living at it. And there's nothing wrong if you just want to have a hobby channel, just post stuff you're doing, that's great too. But if you really want to make a living, have it focused. Know who you're trying to reach, what your audience. People go to my YouTube channel and they can tell right away, oh, this is it says beginning woodworkers. This is exactly who it's for. And so I've kind of just narrowed that down over the years so they know exactly what they're getting when they see one of my videos.
That's good. I come up with things that I think would be good for his channel sometimes, and he says, no, it doesn't fit my core audience. So he does a really good job of that too. Like
even the CNC we got, I was like, a little, but I have an idea for that, and I kind of wanted to try it, and it's only going to be a few videos, and we'll just see what happens. But yeah, you're right. You just got to have and I probably should focus more than I have been.
Well, you'll get there. I mean, your channel is really, even though you've been posting videos for a while, it's only been a couple of years since you've really kind of hit your stride on that channel. So it takes some time to really figure it
out. Martin Malox wants to know when will you have Tim Allen on the Woodworking Talk Show?
I don't know.
That would be awesome.
I don't know if he does any actual woodworking or not.
Well, he's got a show with April Wilkerson now, right?
I guess so. I've never seen that. I don't even know how to watch those shows, really, to tell you the truth. I guess they're on
where they're at. I
Hulu or something.
Yeah, I thought they were on a network. We just canceled our satellites.
Okay, so we completely missed a time, and Stephanie did put it on there, but I didn't want to interrupt anyone. But do you know what time it is past?
It's past power tip time. We do a power tip at 7:31, Steve. So What's the power
It was
tip?
it was my excessive rambling.
I say the power tip was the advice he gave to younger YouTubers.
I think so too. So I don't think we missed the power tip time. I think we just let it speak for
flow.
itself. We let it speak for itself. So good job.
Oh, give us another power tip.
Stephanie said, I want another power tip. Okay. We need a power tip, people.
The power tip is if you build a nightstand with wireless charging, be very careful on how deep you plunge the router because you can go too deep. I almost did. Actually, it was like so thin. So I wound up putting a little bit of CA glue in there to kind of help give it strength. That's
oh my goodness.
Okay. Hey, do you have any more thoughts on your router table we were talking about?
So yeah, I do. And so I've been thinking about it, and I've got an oscillating spindle sander, my planer, so a flip cart for those, but also incorporate a router table on one end. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Nice.
So it'd be like
what do you think of
a cart mobile?
How do you like that spindle sander?
Oh man, it's awesome.
It's like a game changer, isn't it?
Awesome. It's so
I know. Somebody sent me one years ago. Somebody sent me one just out of the blue, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. Oh man,
yeah,
I just use it all the time.
It was a gift from me, and we got it. And I made some mallets, and this was one of the first things I made with it. And they got a curved handle, and they got finger indentions, and I was able to just
I like that.
I was like, whoa, this thing's awesome. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
And I saw you were making. I saw you were making templates too, but for those mallets. Those look cool.
Yeah, I got some templates coming, and that's one of the things I'm going to use the CNC for is to help build templates for things on the channel. Mm-hmm. And Andy Bird Builds actually helped me with the template. He made the template and sent it to me. I seen the measurements because I don't know how to work it yet. And but yeah, it's pretty cool.
4321 said, "Darn you guys! Now I need a new tool."
Well, the good thing is they're not terribly expensive. So
no, spindle sanders are real inexpensive. And as far as that mallet goes, I think that is like a must-build project for any woodworker is to make a mallet. And you will be surprised how often you use a mallet.
All the time. All the time.
Patrick wants to know if there's a video for using the spindle sander. I
don't have one. I don't know if Steve does. I know Colin Connett, Woodworking Web, has a really good one from about 2014 I watched the other night. And but that's who I would go watch. Third Right wants to know if you ever sit down. He never sees you sit down.
No, I don't. It's funny. I a few years ago. Okay, so it kind of all fits into this is like about 7 years ago. I decided to kind of turn my life around. I'm like, I want to get in shape. I want to eat better. I started running. I ran 2 marathons. I did. I'm doing like weightlifting all the time now. I'm doing rock climbing, just all this stuff. But anything, one of those things that I thought is like, I'm just sitting too much. I don't like to sit, or I shouldn't be sitting as much as I do. And so I got myself one of these standing desks. This is in my office, and it's always up. I never put it down anymore. And then out here in my shop, one time I tried recording my other podcast that I do, sitting down, and I'm just too fidgety. I couldn't do it anymore. And so now it's like I'm on my feet just all day long. I rarely sit except,
I know how
at night if I want to.
Behaved in church now. You need to stand.
You just stand up.
Yeah.
I can't sit still either. I was watching back our interview the other day, and I noticed I was just doing this in the chair, just moving. But I'm the same way. I got energy, man.
I have to go to church.
You get real self-conscious when you start watching what you do on video,
Yeah, I didn't.
You start to realize these.
See, I'm that way at work. I cannot sit. I have a stool at my podium, which is standing height for me. And I get on the stool and I stay on it for about 2 seconds and I'm back up. And my students say, "Why are you trying to sit down? You never stay there." I can't. I have to be up and
Good for you. I mean, they even make these little conveyor belt, like these they're like treadmills, but you can put them on your desk if you like standing treadmills. I thought that's kind of what I need.
Yes, I've seen those. They're super cool looking, but I feel like I would be so distracted that I would fall.
See, that's why I jump around too much when I'm doing like these podcasts and live streams. One of the things that was hard for me is to just to focus myself on my microphone when doing the podcast, because I would just start talking back here. And then it's a perfect example.
Mr. Jackie McAllister said that he remembers when you started losing weight. He said at first he thought maybe you were sick because you lost so much weight, but then you explained in a video what you were doing. So they know that.
Yeah, I think that there's the main thing I did was started eating right, and the more main thing I did was I stopped drinking. And so as soon as I stopped drinking, the calories alone are just out the roof. But it's just that sense where you just don't have the energy to move and to do things. And I'm like, I was in my 40s, and I'm like, God, I should be doing stuff. This was 7 years ago. I thought, I'm gonna try to run around the block. It's like a quarter mile, and I couldn't do it. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I should be able to do this. So.
You're speaking my language. See, it makes you feel good so much better when you start eating right. It does.
Oh, yeah.
I started doing that in January. Started eating right. I've lost 26 pounds.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I hit my goal weight. I'm back to where I weighed after I had my third baby. So, I'm happy with that.
And
what kind of things?
You cannot out-train a bad diet either.
Mm-mm.
So if you eat like garbage, you still can't out-train that no matter how much you're working out.
Mm-hmm.
No, and you see these shows like, The Biggest Loser or something where they're all focused on these exercises. It makes for good video, but really you can't lose weight that way. You got to just stop putting the food in you.
I've done no exercise.
Yeah, she's just done all diet.
And
really, that's true. That's the way it has to do it. It's just calories in, calories out. Really,
whole different mindset. Yep.
Yeah, you have to change lifestyle.
Thank you, Miss Cheryl.
And just stopping to eat just so many processed foods. If we could just get to where we're eating more whole foods and we're actually spending time in the produce department and fixing vegetables and finding out these things are actually really good and they taste good and you can cook them.
That and I like to cook everything from scratch. And so sometimes that's good, but sometimes that means you get a lot of butter. So you live in the South. Stephanie Simmons wants me to let you know that she loves you. So she's a big fan of yours. So
I love you too, Stephanie.
She is one of our channel members. She's a moderator for us and has become a very good friend of ours. She's wonderful.
Oh, that's great. See, it's a community.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
They're awesome too. Several people want to know about your workbench that you built. If you still have
which one?
No, I'm sorry.
Which one?
Your workout bench.
My workout bench.
If you still have it.
So I don't have it anymore because once the gym reopened, I didn't need it anymore. It was just taking up space here. But that was it was an incline bench, so I could do everything. I was lucky that early on I'd already had dumbbells. I bought a set of dumbbells like just a couple of months before lockdown happened. But once the lockdown happened, they were sold out. You couldn't buy dumbbells anywhere. But I converted the shop here into like a makeshift gym. I still have a pull-up bar here, and I did the weight bench, and it was cool.
Anna Loretti wants to know if you have any other courses in the works.
I know we talked about that on the members only, but everybody else hasn't heard.
Right. So right at the moment, nothing is in the line, and that's just because I haven't come up with a problem that needs to be solved. And I think that a course needs to solve a problem rather than just be a bunch of videos, so that there's an actual value. I'm really big in kind of a completion attitude, that like if you start at one point of a course, you should be able to work all the way through it, and then you've accomplished something at the end, rather than just building random projects. So it still may happen, but probably nothing in the works really soon.
Someone had just said that I lost it on here, but that they started watching you 6 years ago and they haven't been able to stop since. I wish I could.
Thank you.
I wish I could find who said that. It goes away on me.
Even the really bad videos.
It was David Collins. I found it. He said you were the first woodworker he saw on maybe 6 years ago. Haven't stopped yet. Love the simplicity of your teaching.
And somebody else said really they wanted to know if you had a teaching background because you did an awesome job explaining things for newbies.
Oh, thank you. No, I don't. But I did. I homeschooled my son, so I think that kind of gave me a little bit of experience. So yeah, I homeschooled him until he went into ninth grade into high school.
One of our other subs on here, who is also a friend of ours and a member, Becca Mayberry. Her little one. She's got a very, very bright little boy, and she just started homeschooling him. So she said that he's going to teach them though, instead of them teaching him. So I'm interested to see how that's going to go. Welcome, Gene Ernest, to our 1x4 supporter club.
R&M Woodworks wants to know, what's your favorite wood species to work with?
Probably cherry. I think cherry is just a gorgeous wood, and it just keeps getting better and better the older as it ages. It's just like me. I get better and better as I age.
Like a fine wine, huh?
That's what it is, yeah. But no, I love cherry. I think it's just gorgeous. And it's pretty nice to work with. It doesn't really splinter a lot and everything.
Vaish Gopal says that his favorite video from you was the folding sawhorse build.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
That sounds interesting.
Thank you.
Jackie McAllister wants to know if you're going to put out another movie like the Halloween movies you made.
Yeah, I do those every year. I haven't come up with one for this year yet. I always kind of keep procrastinating, and then I come up with an idea, just somehow comes to me, and then I do it. And they're like my least viewed videos. There's another. That's just a labor of love, just because I love Halloween and I love making those things because it gives me a break from. It's just something totally different. I get to, flex my editing skills, which really aren't that much. I get to put in some crazy music and make it a little spooky. It's funny. Yeah, I've been doing those since I think 2008 was the first one, I think, or maybe 2009. Yeah.
You should show him one of your videos you found the other day. One of your first ones.
Oh no. So before I went, so you started YouTube in 2008, and I started troop school. So I made her videos. There was a 21-week school. I made her 2 videos. I think it was 2 videos a week
for the first 2
before
weeks.
I went, so that she could watch them while I was there, because you can't call and stuff like that. So anyway, I pulled out her old laptop the other day. We've been talking about it for a while. I pulled it out and got that thing fired up, and we started watching those videos. I was like, put this up.
I was crying.
Aww.
I was crying because our babies were babies in them. Our kids were in it. Oh.
So I guess that's technically where my video started.
Yeah, it was.
It was real world experience.
Jason, I want him to share those videos. He said he won't do it.
Defiant Arts wants to know if you still use the biscuit joiner. I know you had a video on that.
Little controversy there. Yeah. No, I'm not a fan of biscuit joiners. I mean, I've used them, and I just don't see where they're that useful. So
you got
to each their own. Some people like them.
Yeah.
Graf has a question.
Any advice for new woodworking channels that are just starting out? Graf, I think we covered that early on. If you want to go back and check that out on the replay.
Oh, and somebody's asking about your all-time favorite project. He's got that on there too.
Yep.
Go back and check that replay.
Yeah, I said the TARDIS, but it's probably not. I couldn't think of anything else, and that one was pretty cool. I don't have a lot of cool projects, and I thought that was cool.
Patrick Erskine, I don't know if I'm saying your name right, says that he's really enjoyed all of your videos and different styles you've tried over the years, but his favorite would be the pandemic vlogs.
Yeah.
Any new stuff you would like to try with your channel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying new things. I like to think that I kind of reinvent it every couple of years. And so like that 2020 was totally different than this year. I'm really focused on doing shorts and then doing the podcast, and, it'll come back to something else. I posted a project video a couple of weeks ago. It did all right, but project videos are kind of harder and harder to get views on these days, unless you've got like a $10,000 slab and you pour epoxy on it or something, I guess.
Yeah. Rick Calter wants to know, and it's an excellent question, how long did it take you to come up with the name Woodworking for Mere Mortals?
That's the funniest thing, is I don't even remember going through a whole list of ideas or anything. You would think I would remember that really well, but I don't. And all I know is that the whole idea of it was that it was an alternative to, at the time, the only woodworking you saw was on TV. It would either be on PBS or maybe some of the like DIY networks. And these guys were really polished, and they would finish, like Norm Abram would finish a whole project in a half hour. And he had all this amazing shop with all these tools and laser guided saws, shot lasers out of his eyes and everything. And I just thought there's got to be an alternative to this. And so that's just where I came up with it. Yeah, it's just for regular woodworkers.
Long Knife Woodwork says that 3 years ago, he found himself out of work at the age of 61. He needed something to focus on and found your channel and began woodworking. It's enabled him to make several projects for his church. He says, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks. I'm glad you got into woodworking. That's great. It is never too late to start woodworking. I'm 55 years old, so I'm right behind you there, and I'll be. And so, yeah, it's nothing. Woodworking is not a real strenuous activity. If anything, it's probably a good activity to get some exercise and to bring your heart and to relieve some stress.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of police officers and firemen, paramedics, things like that will actually do woodworking just for stress relief, not to any business or nothing.
We have a lot of teachers in here too.
A lot of teachers.
Don't discount us teachers. We're stressed out. We are stressed out.
Chris,
Amy, do you ever make anything out of wood?
I want to get into the shop and make something. I want to do a build. But right now I'm hindered.
She had surgery.
Yeah, I had surgery in December. I'm having another procedure done tomorrow, so y'all pray for that. And then I'm having surgery again later this year. So once all that, then yes, I want to. I need to chop something or something like just
give her a mallet and let her go to town.
Just have at it. Yeah.
I want to go do one of those things where you throw the axes.
Yeah, that looks fun, doesn't it? I've never done that either.
That looks so much like it would be so much fun. Oh my gosh, I love my students.
Christopher Jones wants to know if you're going to do any more woodworking puzzles like you did with the golf ball and the cube or the nail in the middle of the wood block.
Yeah, I love doing those. I did a couple of those during the lockdown series last year. That was kind of fun to do. I probably got some of them sitting back here in my shop. And yeah, I like doing those kind of projects.
Yeah, those are awesome. That nail video, that probably was one of the first ones I saw when I started looking at woodworking stuff. Probably the algorithm served it up to me or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Got to click that.
It still serves it up, man. I just don't believe that video. It's just still month after month that thing performs. I don't even know how many. I don't even feel like I own that video anymore. It's just like it just has its own life.
Yeah. It's like you wrote
the comments are just like the Wild West. I don't know what's going on in there. And it's not even representative of my channel, really. Yeah. It's just totally its own thing. It's so weird.
It's kind of like you wrote an episode of Friends or something. You just keep getting paid for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told Tom Honey the right thing about joining.
The channel membership?
Yeah.
There's a link in the description. Yeah, there's a link. Yeah, or if you're on desktop, there's a join button. If you're on your mobile phone, then there's a link in the description of the video.
How does that membership work for you? Do you like that?
It gives extra perks to people who want to support us, and it's a great way because we can do like member only live streams. They can get discounts to the store, stuff like that. So it's a really good thing to give extra perks to people who already want to support what we're doing, and we greatly appreciate the support.
So it's kind of like Patreon, but without all the extra clicks.
It is. YouTube takes 30%, I think, off the top. So it's a lot more. It takes more from you as far as their direct support doesn't come directly to you. Like Patreon doesn't take near as much.
Right.
However, it's easier to do. It's like less.
Yeah.
Actually, what was I going to say? I lost my thought.
Lost his train of thought again. Yep.
Oh, I was going to ask you about your courses. Several people have commented and said that they have taken your courses and loved them. For somebody who don't know about your courses, can you tell us just a little bit about what they offer?
Oh, sure. It's called the Weekend Woodworker, and the first course called the Weekend Woodworker is designed to take somebody who has, in some cases, never even held a hammer in their life. They've never done any woodworking whatsoever. and through step-by-step instructions get you to actually building your first project in your first weekend starting. So it's like starting you right on out, showing you here's how you can use a miter saw, here's what you need to do with it, here's how you can cut boards, and you can make a cool little table. It's not that difficult. And then throughout that course, we build other projects, each one kind of building on the skills learned in the previous course. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of it, you can get a lovely certificate if you've done all of the projects. And it is amazing to see how many people have made those projects. I mean, just thousands and thousands of those. It's so cool. And that's it really is one of the best compliments I can ever have, is when somebody says, I learned woodworking and it sort of changed my life because now I have like this purpose, this thing I want to do. Excuse me. And that's really makes me feel good. And so then we've got 2 other courses, a little bit more advanced course called Powered Up. And then another course, if you already know a little bit of woodworking, but you need to set up a workshop, it's called the Weekend Workshop, where I can help you set up a workshop in a limited space. It's designed for, like a corner of a garage, or even if you have to share the space with cars, don't do that. But if you have to, I can help you out on how to set up. And that's all of the stuff that in my shop was made during the Weekend Workshop course. Awesome. So I think it's a great resource. Mm-hmm.
It is awesome. Yep. Mike Adams has a question for both of us. He says, do you find more satisfaction in projects with plans, written plans, or do you like to plan as you go?
Well, I make my own plans for every single project I make. I used to kind of plan as I go, but it was just taking me too long, and it was just too frustrating to try to just trial and error put things together. Even with some simple sketches, it was just not as good. So now I find it's much more valuable to learn some SketchUp. It's pretty easy to learn, and design the project, and then you can see it from all sides, exactly. And then I can just take my own set of plans into my shop and just boom, 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 just start building.
I should probably do that. I'm more of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of person
on everything.
And I always get frustrated, and I'm like, it didn't fit. This didn't do right. It didn't come out like I wanted to. And I actually have someone, H2 Woodworks. He's actually here in the shop, and he says he learned on your video, and he does my plans. So
that's great. Yeah. Well, you're in good company. You're in good company. I mean, look at guys like DiResta. He'll make a couple of simple sketches sometimes. Just start building.
Thank you, Project Toyota with the D.
Thank you,
Toyota. Welcome to our One Before Supporter Club. Toyota with the D, though. I like that.
Chris House wants to know, what are the best horror movies you've watched lately?
Horror movies?
Oh man. This guy's talking my language here. So lately, 2 films come to mind that in this year that have come out that I just love. Is one's called Saint Maud, and the other is called Censor. Both of those movies, I think, are outstanding.
Typically,
I think my kids were talking about.
Typically, what happens here in our house is she's like, "Let's watch a scary movie," and I'm like, "Okay." Actually, that's not what I say. I'd be like, we're going to turn it off 10 minutes in. We start to, she gets scared and we turn it off. Or she does this, or she's like, "Don't tell me what happened."
Do you know Ethan James, the Honest Carpenter on YouTube? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's really into horror movies. So I think what we're going to do, he's going to come on my podcast, and we're going to do a Halloween just talking about horror movies. It's going to be really fun.
Halloween is my birthday. And so...
Really? On the 31st? Oh, it was my grandmother's birthday, too.
Well, I'm the youngest, and then I have a brother who passed away a few years ago, but he's the oldest, and his birthday's Halloween also, or was Halloween. So the oldest and the youngest. But when I was little, my daddy told me that the reason people gave out candy on October 31st was because it was my birthday. But then I started I was like, well, why do they dress as bad things for my birthday? And so I would go to people's house and I would say trick or treat, because that's what we were supposed to do. And I would say, it's my birthday. I'm the one that, I'm the
This is all for me.
Candy. So I was very saddened to find out that the whole world was not celebrating me.
But it was nice to. It was nice to think that for a while.
Yeah. But as a little girl, it was difficult coming to the realization that the whole world didn't think you was as important as your daddy thought. But it's okay.
Last one before I let you go. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But San Marcos he said he's wanting to know this for a long time. Says, Steve, I know you have plenty of the play button, but is that a real or self-made?
No, this one back here. I can't do this backwards. That way. That one. No, that was. I think it was sent to me, and I think it was from Art. Oh, I can't think of the name of his channel, but it was. He also has a YouTube channel, and he made those for a number of YouTube woodworkers a long time ago. And yeah, I've got my silver play button and my gold play up in my office just because I didn't want to get so much sawdust all over them here. I've got the old school.
Pour something on top of them. I mean,
like a pot.
I've heard that's a thing. Pour some epoxy all over. See, I've got that old school silver play button, and it's like behind glass, and so I don't. But see, I didn't even know you could order a second one like you did.
You can now. I don't know if you could back then. How long?
I don't know.
How long did it take you to get that milestone? Or was it like a thing you were shooting for, or it just happened?
It was a lot harder to get that way back then. It took me probably a number of years before I got to 100,000. I probably was 2013 maybe.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna guess. So I'd been doing that for a long time. Mm-hmm. I remember when I hit 1,000, a lot more. That was kind of a huge number for me to hit 1,000 subscribers. But
Married Man just hit 75,000 views, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he just hit 75,000 views?
Nice.
You're doing good.
That's what's really important. The views.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He says to say thank you to you. Well, he says to all of us for making this happen. You inspire him by making woodworking approachable. You're awesome. And can I get a super chat? He wants a super chat.
Super chat. There you go.
There you go, RT.
Mr. Steve, I can't thank you enough for joining us and answering questions for us tonight, man. I obviously a big fan of yours, and can't wait to see what you keep coming up with.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for inviting me on. This was really a lot of fun. It was great to talk to you both. You guys have such a professional job you're doing here. I mean, seriously, doing a live stream is really hard. I don't know if people watching this understand how much work goes into doing a live stream, and that's why I don't do that because I've tried. And you have to have a partner. You really have to have somebody to help you.
She's not here. I'm quiet.
Yeah, if I'm
he gets up and walks out, I'm like.
He just goes, and I'm like, babe.
She's like, say something. Like,
say something.
There's so much to do. You've got like the chat going on, and you're trying to talk, and you can't really. There's the weird delay. It's
It is. But we've been surrounded by wonderful people that are very understanding of all of our technical, his issues,
our tangents.
We
cut each other off. Apparently, that's the thing.
A lot.
That's how we've always been. So we're that way on camera. And like at the first few live streams, people were like, "I can't watch this. Y'all talk over each other too much." I'm like, "What?"
That's just
we do that naturally. We're the same way here that we are when we get off of here. So.
How long have you guys been married?
21 years.
That shows. I mean, in a good way. I don't know why. You have a great chemistry together.
I see that gray hair you got.
No,
you have really good work together.
Well, we both had really bad marriages first.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is we got married in the exact same church about, a month or two apart from each other. In the exact same church.
Went to church together?
Went to
never
church
spoke?
together. Me with my ex-husband, him with his ex-wife. Never spoke or anything. And it's weird, but I don't know. God was just kind to us. So
been blessed, man. Been blessed.
I'll never deserve him though, ever.
Aww.
I feel the same way about her.
He's a good
I don't know
one.
how she put that with me. I mean, she let me quit my job to do YouTube. So
yeah,
you guys are great. And Matt, your YouTube channel is just killing it. You're gonna be one
I'm
of.
trying to catch up to you at some point.
You will.
Or get close anyway.
I hope so. I really do. I think that's good because then I can be the guy who goes, I knew him before he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I know. My students, you have to imagine for 7th and 8th graders who are in love with YouTube,
That's all they want to do.
Yes, they think it's the coolest thing ever that he's gotten a silver play button. To them, he is, famous. He is just on a pedestal to them. So
what's funny, one of the teachers told him, said, you can't do that for a living.
Last year.
I would equate it to like, and you can if you put the work in, and the time, and you hit the right niche.
It takes time.
You have a passion for it, but not everybody's going to do it, but some people can. It's possible.
Well, it's the #1 career goal now with kids.
Yeah.
They want to be YouTubers.
Yeah. I teach careers in 8th grade, and this semester is the first semester I've ever had a student tell me that YouTube was their dream job. And I have 3 of them in one class, and I'm like, okay, this is, I think it's always been something that they've wanted to do. They've just been scared to say it. And so they're starting to say that more now.
Mr. Steve, I ain't going to take up too much of your time, man. I really appreciate it. I really do.
You got it. Anytime.
Awesome.
Love to come back.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Good night.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Nice meeting you.
Bye.
Likewise.
Well, that was awesome. It was really awesome. Thank you, Mr. Steve, again. That was just fantastic. I'm a big fan of his and have watched his show for a very long time.
Thank you, Dominic.
His channel, multiple videos of his. So it was really cool of him to come on.
It really was. He's got, we've had people on here, we've said it before, that they have that positive energy. You can tell he enjoys doing what he does.
Yeah.
That's what I love more than anything.
Yep. He has a passion for it.
I see, and some of the things he talks about as being frustrating are some of the same things that you've talked about. We got a grand dog trying to come in. But it's interesting to see another person's take on that too.
Yeah. Especially somebody who, like him, has been on YouTube since 2008. Man, I could just sit and listen to him all day because he has so much information.
Oh, Pagan Wizard says, I missed it.
Oh, sorry, man.
Yeah, Becca, see, that's what I'm saying. She's saying he's cool and calm and helpful and encouraging and positive. Those are the things that I think sometimes we don't see very much of, especially out of one person. Right. All of those things out of one person, and I like that.
And he's a naturally gifted teacher. Like if you watch his videos, his woodworking videos, like it just comes. That's why somebody asked him if he had a teaching background because he's naturally gifted at it. It's really good.
So Jackie McAllister says, I would say I love Steve, but not as much as Stephanie apparently. And funny. I didn't go back and say it, but Stephanie said her husband gave her the stank eye after that.
Gonna be in troubles.
That is so funny, Stephanie. You're funny.
Let's see. I got 2 questions real quick. Vahish.
I don't know how to say his name the right way, but I saw it.
I do recommend a benchtop planer for a new woodworker, but I would get a jointer first personally. I've got a video on what order to buy the big tools in. You can go watch that. I personally would have preferred, I actually would have used the jointer more than the planer. And Great Grandpa, the mallet templates are not up, but they will be up either this evening, probably this evening. I've got them started, and but the digital files are there for Carbide Create or an SVG. It's all in one zip file, but the physical template will be available probably an hour or so after the show.
Oh my goodness!
I've got everything ready to go. I just got to hammer out the details on the listing before I hit post.
Becca said that he's very easy to follow and not selfish with information. Truly wants us to succeed, just like y'all do. And so somebody on here said that the reason they like to watch us is because we're real.
We's real as they get.
Sometimes I feel like I need to scale myself back at work because I'm that way at work too. That's this is the same me that's in front of my students. So sometimes I'm like, maybe you need to act a little bit different. But,
well, when we first started the show, y'all go back and watch the first few live streams. After about 2 or 3, we got a bunch of comments about the way we were. And so we actually tried to change the format a little bit for a couple of shows. And I'm like, it wasn't working. It didn't flow.
Tried.
It just felt like it wasn't us. It felt fake. So we went back to us. And
we really did. We do talk over each other. We
Mhm.
talk at the same time, and then a lot of times we say the exact same thing at the exact same time. Yeah, Mo thinks it's the weirdest thing ever. He will walk into the room singing a line from a song that I'm singing in my head, and it is freakishly awesome. But
Jim at all, you're right. Hammer out the
thank you,
details on the
Knowledge
mallets.
Quest. Everybody's liking our grand.
How long have we been doing the live ed shows? I think this is episode number next. I think it's 38 or 39 episodes every week except one.
When we were on vacation.
When we went on vacation, we didn't do it in July, or actually it was August, the 2nd or 3rd or whatever. We missed that week. But we're rocking on close to 40 weeks now straight.
So Brenda Beeson wants to know what happened to our laptops. We ordered new skins.
Same laptop.
Yeah.
Different skin. Fish skin.
I put mine on first.
SKYN.
I ripped it. It's ripped. And I decided I didn't really like the one I ordered, which is
Oceany.
Ocean. Well, I mean, I love the ocean, but I don't know. It wasn't my vibe. So I actually have ordered a new one. So Lord willing, it'll be different next week, and I think you'll like it. It'll be there.
Yep, it'll be cool.
We really love you too, Becca.
Y'all be sure check out the store 731woodworks.com/store. We got some new plans up there, and then also if you haven't seen I got a shop cart plan up there. The mallet digital plans will be up there, and the mallet physical template will be up there. Our first templates we've tried to sell. We'll see how those go. If those work well, we'll try to get some more templates up. Maybe stove cover handle templates, things like that.
Vaish says that unfortunately he can't become a member because of where he lives.
Oh, dang. That's all right, man.
That's all right. You can still join us on here.
Yep. You ain't got to be.
We'll still love you just as much, I promise. So everybody was sad that we missed saying power tip time. So I think we owe it to them.
Okay.
Hey, you know what time it is?
Power tip time.
Power tip time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's power tip?
Get rest tonight. Because I have not been sleeping. Y'all, we are going tomorrow morning. We're leaving out early in the morning, heading to my surgeon's office. I'm pretty sure they're going to do another procedure on me in the morning. And then after that, surgery is the next thing. So,
all right, Charlie guy, thank you very much, man. And you're in luck because there's another one coming tomorrow. I'm going to try to do 2 to 3 a week. I would like to do 3 Monday, Wednesday, Friday, since we got it live stream on Tuesday, video Sunday, Thursday, and give you Saturday off. I would like to do that. I don't know if I'll be able to come up with enough short ideas to keep up with 3. So we're going to do at least 2, maybe 3 a week. And they're doing well, and I'm pleased with the response they're getting. So we're going to keep doing those and see what happens.
Thank y'all for your prayers and well wishes for tomorrow.
Yes, thank you very much.
Stephanie says our power tip can be always be yourself.
That's right.
Dang it, sometimes I need to not. Thank y'all so much for your prayers.
Woodworks for the private. So the channel membership, if you're on desktop, there's a join button right under the video, and if you're on your mobile device, in the description of the video is a link that talks about joining the channel membership. If you click that, it explains how to join.
Oh, Michael Johnson, prayers for your mom tomorrow. She's going for a surgery tomorrow.
Oh, man.
The thing I'm having done tomorrow, they're not cutting or anything. They just inject stuff into that tendon. Mm-hmm. It makes my arm right here swell up to about right here. It makes it really, it's not, It gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Jason, I appreciate that, man. The shorts take me about an hour to make, so it's not a burnout issue there, and I like doing them.
David,
they're quick, fast.
I did not do that, and I'm so sorry. I will do that right now.
Ooh, called you out.
Woo, almost missed that one. Dang, I was just checking y'all. Ready? Indiana, New Zealand, Wyoming, Illinois, Oklahoma, Vermont, Virginia, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Tennessee, Alabama, Ohio, Arkansas, Arizona, Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, New York, Canada, Wisconsin, Delaware, Maine, Oregon, New Jersey, California, Utah, Idaho, Poland, and from a hotel room. But I don't know what state. It just said hotel room.
Canada. Hey.
I said Canada.
And Cali.
I said California.
Steve is from Cali. So.
I said California and Canada, eh?
I got a dog biting my hand.
Justin was not saying that I didn't say it. He just says to add it if I didn't have it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
See, that was your fault, not Justin's.
Well, here we're at the end, so I'm gonna switch.
I had you, Justice.
That one must have died. I tried.
What are you doing?
I tried to switch camera angles. It didn't work. I think that was
Good.
dead.
Arizona was on there.
Arizona.
And
Colorado.
Georgia. And Georgia was on there because
Canada.
our Georgia Peach was in the house, so
Okay.
I had Georgia.
Justin,
wait.
Facebook.
Okay.
So we got moderators and things that will take care of that. If you've asked to
Minnesota.
join, you'll be approved within a pretty short amount of time.
Oh, wait. Michael says we're different from Cali. Who's he talking about?
I don't know.
What? I missed it.
Hey, from Spain. Capitan Woodworking.
Did you hear that I said Poland
Alaska.
and New Zealand
Yep, that's awesome.
were in there too? And somebody's hotel room. Thank you, Pagan Wizard.
Thank you.
Find something you enjoy doing and you'll never work a day in your life.
For sure.
Seriously.
Yep.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right, we're
Oh,
gonna-
Alaska.
Alaska
I said Oklahoma and Texas. I need to add Alaska and Minnesota.
and Texas.
I had Texas.
But do you have Midlothian, Texas?
What is that?
I don't know. He put it on there. Midlothian.
Where?
Maybe it's a town, North Carolina.
North Pole, Alaska.
Oh,
Where-
that is
where is-
fantastic. Are you serious?
Midlothian, Texas. North Pole, Alaska.
Iowa.
San Diego is different than Cali. What?
Oh, San Diego's supposed to be like really nice, like nice weather.
Oh, okay. Well, San Diego. I will try to remember
They're their own
Michigan.
thing.
I will try to remember that you are your own thing. We have Virginia Beach in the house too. So
All right, we kept y'all long enough, man.
we did. Thank
Or
y'all
man,
so
you
much for
guys,
joining
girls,
us
thank you.
tonight.
Thank you very much. Be sure if you haven't subscribed to Steve's channel, there's a link in the
Love
description
you
of his
too,
channel.
Stephanie.
Go
Yeah.
check him out, and then let him know that you saw him on tonight's show and you appreciate him coming on because we really do appreciate his
He
time.
was a wonderful guest to be on the show. Oh, y'all,
Yep.
here's Mo. And
Hi,
Mia. Mo and Mia. Here's Mia. Hey, baby. Look. Tell everyone bye. Say good night. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Oh, look at my head.